Hi, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. You may have noticed I didn't upload a video on Sunday, and that was in part because I was experiencing yet another period week. And yeah, I just didn't really have it in me to put out a video. I have been feeling really inspired lately though, which is a good thing. But it's almost like I've been too inspired, like I've been having too many ideas. And so like figuring out what to do, how to execute, it's just been kind of difficult making those decisions, especially when I've been a little overwhelmed with other areas of my life. I did want to kind of talk a bit about the idea of like consistency on this channel. I don't know if you're gonna ever get consistency from me. Maybe one day, but right now, like I'm in an experimental phase for this channel. And like I've said previously, I don't want to ever put more effort into it than I'm like actually willing to, or than I actually want to, because I don't know that the payoff is there. Like, I don't see YouTube as this meritocracy that's gonna always reward hard work. It's just not designed that way. Like literally some of my favorite YouTubers or content creators, the growth rate of their channel doesn't in any way match that of creators who I think put out really subpar content that I think just kind of like appeals to kind of this like viral culture. And then like I feel like people who actually put like thought and intent into their content, or who kind of have like an innovative approach to content, like I don't see the rewards for that. So yeah, YouTube as a platform is not really something I want to give that like level of myself to. If I put something out on this channel that did require a certain amount of effort from me, it is because I just felt like it, not because I think that I'm going to get something out of it. So because of that, if I don't feel like it, you guys are going to get a webcam video. Also, really quickly, I wanted to say like part of why making videos is so hard, even when I want to, even when I feel like it, is because whenever I shoot on my iPhone, I'm shooting in 4K and I edit in 4K, and it takes up so much drive space. Literally every video that I have like rendered so far, even when I'm rendering it like for the internet, for YouTube, has been like 10 gigs, and like it's a lot of drive space. Also, my Mac, I bought a MacBook during the time where they like removed all of the necessary ports that creators need. I don't have like a USB port. I don't have an SD port on my computer, so I have to use one of my old laptop, which like its battery life is just hanging on by a thread. I have to basically use the SD port on that old laptop to upload everything, then from there airdrop it to my computer, hoping my new laptop has enough space, and then from there move it to my G drive, which I like then edit from. It's a whole process. So even when I have no issue filming and creating, like that whole process is always just very aggravating. So sometimes if you don't see a video from me, that is why. But yeah, just wanted to pop in and say that. And I hope that's okay, and that there's something kind of like authentic about that in a way, and that there are people out there who can still appreciate that, and that in me doing that, I'm actually kind of like inviting you into like my mental landscape a little bit, and you're able to connect with my work in that way. And it doesn't always have to be like very aesthetic, though it may be sometimes. Like I said in the description of my previous video, I want to create art. It doesn't mean that that's going to be every week, but I definitely want to. And I have so many ideas. Like, there's so many topics I've been wanting to talk about. But as I also said in one of my prior descriptions, I don't necessarily want to make content that is super persuasive, or that's like me kind of forming this argumentative video essay. I just hope that as I share my thoughts and ideas on certain things, that it resonates with certain people. And for those that it doesn't resonate with, that, you know, they'll just maybe think, oh, maybe this video is not for me. But for those that it does resonate with, that they can just like kind of like appreciate that. Because I don't know, I'm like just in a phase where I'm just not trying to convince anyone of anything at this point in my life right now. And I'm also, I feel like on a path where I'm just trying to like accept people for who they are. It doesn't mean that like people can't be wrong. Like, people are wrong all the time. Like, people do bad things all the time. Like, it's more that like I don't want to be in a state of like feeling like I'm constantly at war with the world. And I think I talked about that previously too. So for any of you watching who may not have realized this, in all of my latest videos, I've been journaling kind of in my description box. So when I upload a video, I kind of share my thoughts surrounding the video, what I'm like kind of going through at that time, what I'm feeling. And so I think throughout this, I've kind of referenced those things. So if you're a little confused, like, when did you talk about this? It may not have been in the video itself. It may have been in like the description box. So if you want to go back and read some of my descriptions, feel free. I need to actually drink this tea because it's probably cold. It's a little warm. It's like a little hotter than room temperature. I've been like thinking a lot about like doing projects, almost like albums, and releasing art in that way. So for instance, like I feel like I'm constantly getting these new ideas, and it's not just for videos, it's for like content in general. Like sometimes I'll get an idea for like a series on Instagram, or like a series of graphics, or a podcast idea, or like a show of some kind. And I love like little contained short form projects. And I feel like social media today isn't really conducive for that kind of work, because it's all about consistency, doing the same thing every day until you're so sick of it. Like, I don't know. And my mind just doesn't work that way. So I don't know. I really want to create a platform for myself where people come to expect that I'm going to release things in like series, as projects, as, you know, like I'm gonna constantly be getting like new ideas for things. I feel like the way my mind works is it's like it's its own kind of like platform with all these different shows made by all of these different people, and like almost like a network of sorts. But it's just me, and I'm one person who has to somehow make all of this like come to fruition. And so I almost never want to do the same thing all the time. Like, I never want to just like pick a thing and do that on YouTube every week, or like pick a thing and do that on Instagram. Like, that's just not how my brain works. And I'm really tired of trying to fit into that mold. When I'm inspired to do something, I'm inspired to do it, and I want to make it happen. And I think I can even work on something for an extended period of time, but I think I need to know there's like an end in sight. And I feel like I need to be able to plan for it in a way that allows me to execute it like within a set period of time. If it feels indefinite, I feel like I start to run out of ideas, or I don't know how to do something on the fly that is also consistent on a weekly basis. Like that just doesn't work for my mind. And I think in a way, like I wasn't trained to work that way. I think I mentioned this before, but I studied film in college, and prior to that, I also studied media arts in high school. And the way our curriculum worked was that like every week or every couple of weeks we were working on something different, something new. So it's like one week we were studying like German expressionism, and then the next week we were studying surrealism, and then we were studying like suspense and horror. Like every week or every couple of weeks it was something different, and we were kind of given free reign to work on a different project that was totally different from the last. And I think within that, you do find your own style and your own voice and your own way of bringing yourself into every project. So it's still like you, or an extension of you, but it is very different. Even in that, like when I studied media arts, it was film and audio engineering. So every week wasn't even like some video project. It was also audio as well. So sometimes it was making music. Sometimes like it was scoring a clip that we were all given, and we had to like score it differently. Like there was, I don't know, different ways of expressing ourselves and kind of creating this portfolio of work. I don't know, I think because of that, like that's just how my mind is trained to work, in that way where I'm kind of doing something new and different each time. And it's like, how do I build an audience that like understands that and appreciates that and understands that like I'm putting myself into all of it. So it's like you are getting something that's like a part of me each time. And if you vibe with me, then you should be able to appreciate the different work that I put out, but at the same time it's like gonna be something different every time. Like it's not necessarily going to be the same type of thing every week, like week after week. Or sometimes I might want to put out like an 8-episode podcast series and say, here you go, I just did this thing. Or it might be a series of posters that I design because like that was the way that I felt I could best express an idea that was on my chest and like get it out there. And yeah, like there's just so many different ways to express yourself as an artist, especially for someone like me who's like studied different disciplines. Like I have studied audio production and music production, and I've also studied film, I've studied video, I've studied, I do have like some experience like with art. Like I used to draw so much as a child. Really for a very long time, I drew a lot, and everyone always thought I would like study fine arts because I loved drawing and painting. I still paint to this day. As you can see, but I literally have paintings all around my room. I love graphic design. It's something I taught myself. I took a lot of online courses, and I've been doing graphic design for like years now, using like Photoshop and Illustrator. Yeah, so anyway, I say all that to say I've studied so many different disciplines that it's really hard to just stay in one lane. But like it's all a product of my mind. Like that's the continuity, I guess. But yeah, I didn't want this video to be too long because I want to not have too much to edit. I think I'm literally just gonna like kind of upload this. And y'all, I think what people don't realize, like I hate making thumbnails, and I'm literally like, how am I gonna make a thumbnail from this webcam video? I'm honestly probably just gonna take a screenshot of my computer and that's gonna be the thumbnail. Yeah, let me just honestly go ahead and do that right now. All right, so that's gonna be my thumbnail. But yeah, I really also think a huge part of creating good content is like actually creating a good life and just kind of inviting people into parts of that. And then like the other side of that, I think, is like having kind of like this more like high production value content. Like I don't know that there's an in between. It's like if you're doing kind of like vlog style content or lifestyle related content, like it has to be coming from like a very real, genuine, authentic place where it's like, this is actually your life. Because I think when we feel like, or I won't say we, but when I feel like I'm having to almost create a facade of a life to present to people, it just never feels right. Like that type of content never really feels genuine. But in those moments where it's like I'm actually living life and feeling good and like creating a life I'm actually pleased with, and then that's when I feel most inspired to like invite people into that. And it feels effortless to pick up my camera and like kind of show aspects of myself or talk or whatever. Like before I got on here, I literally had to clean my entire space, and it wasn't like in a performative way, but it's like I needed to feel good first. I didn't want to kind of push stuff off screen and kind of get in front of the camera and kind of be like, oh, well, this looks nice and neat or whatever. These are literally my sheets that I just washed. I haven't put them on my bed yet, but like that's fine because I feel comfortable in my space. Like as I look around, like my floor is vacuum, everything's neat. I just cleaned my bathroom and I feel good about the space that I'm in. So I was able to kind of sit down and create this little portal. But I think had I not done that, or if I'd only kind of done the surface level things for the video, it wouldn't have felt right. It wouldn't have felt good. I think for me, it's really important to make sure like my number one priority is building the life I want and shaping the life I want rather than trying to perform what I think that is for content. I just say all that to say, I hope anyone who enjoys my presence on this platform in any way, shape, or form can be ready and prepared for whatever I might put out there, for whatever I might create. I think I'll feel a lot more free if I give myself permission to do that rather than following the rules of like, you know, these social media platforms, because they weren't created for creatives. They are created for advertisers, and that's who they serve. And that's, you know, that is what it is. I'm not here to necessarily disrupt that on this platform. It's not my platform, but with that in mind, it's like I just can't also like bend to that either. Like I can't allow that to shape how I move as an artist and what I create. Like that's not okay. I have to be in control of that, and I have to allow like my intuition to guide me as an artist. Like to me, that's like the whole point of being an artist. So thank you so much for listening and being here with me despite the quality, despite this being a webcam. I don't know, I hope I still was able to connect with you in some way, and I will see you next time in whatever way, shape, or form. Bye.